Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. And today we are diving deep with Elvia from Inspiring Alien Creations. And I've been
Hello,
really,
everyone.
been really excited to do this. Just going to give people a few moments to join. Hi, long-haired, skinny-eyed toe, and Richard Murphy and Irish Gang.
Hello, everybody. I don't know, it's showing on delay. So, anyway, we'll just go with it.
Alrighty. So the first question. Can you talk a little about your channel or other platforms you use, or even if you have a website?
Yes, of course. So, my channel is, I would say it's mostly astrology at this point, but I'm also incorporating some starseed things. And of course, I read tarot cards, and that's also pretty much always been something that's included on my channel and what I do. And I'm also starting to do more things related to the human design system. And I also like to share all kinds of deep spiritual topics, all kinds of things. Like, for example, the depth year. I did the depth year for like 2 years, so it's like about time to share some insights about that. And I also have a big like Q&A that I did a few months ago that I've still got to edit, and it's probably going to come in a few parts because it's like so many topics, so many questions to go through. But that's a little overview of what my YouTube channel is about. And other platforms, I'm using Facebook and Twitter, and my website, like my official website, is coming soon. But
Awesome.
I also have an online shop. That's what I've already had for quite a while. But I'm also gonna do a website, like an official website, and then everything will be found there. And yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And make sure you guys check out their channel because so much neat astrology stuff on there. Number two, zodiac, sun, moon, and rising, if you don't mind sharing.
My sun sign is Gemini, my moon sign is Taurus, and I'm a Leo rising. So
Okay.
that's
I could see that.
yeah. And then I also have a water trine, like a grand water trine. So most of my chart is actually water, which is like so weird when you think about like the Geminis and the Leo rising and Taurus moon. Like those are big parts of my personality, but like deep down, I'm just all water.
Right. I love that though. And I love that about astrology is it's very much like taking all the aspects of your chart and how it forms you, which I heard you talk about in one of your recent videos. I love that. And probably why you're so deep too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Number three, where is your home country or state?
I am in Finland, and I am in southern Finland. So, uh, and yeah, what's very interesting about this winter is that, you know, it's being colder over here rather than where like my grandma is north, not North Finland, but like
Mm,
middle Finland, and it's like it's being colder over here in the south this winter, and it's like really bizarre. But usually that's not the case. Usually it's a little bit warmer over here.
And number four, are there any traditions in your culture that most people are not really aware of or others from other countries may not have heard of?
Well, there is a pretty rich folklore, but I do feel like, especially for people in this country, a lot of people don't really know about some spirits, for example, or
Mm,
like some beings. And even I, like, this is like so bad because I don't really know much about those things myself either. But there's actually this amazing tarot deck that was created by Susanna Salo. And so she created this tarot deck that is based on our like folklore Kalevala, and
Oh,
it is so beautiful. It's, I think, there is an English version, and it's called Mythologia Fennica or something like that. I'll write that in the chat.
thank you. That is so interesting.
But like something like that. Um, and yeah, it's an awesome deck. I've been working with it for. I mean, I got it quite a long time ago, but that was when it was only in Finnish, because there was a Finnish version and now there's an English version as well. Um, but that deck has so many. It has so much information, especially the guidebook has so much information on like all of the different spirits and beings in like Finnish mythology. And yeah, I don't think a lot of people even over here know about those beings. I think most
Right.
people only know about like the gnomes. They
Mhm.
call them tonttu,
Oh,
and like some stories about Kalevala, but there's just so much more to like really dig into. So
wow. Thank you. Can you describe your practice or your spirituality? Like what path would you identify that you practice?
well, it's a little bit hard to describe in just one like word, but witchcraft, different types of energy work. Um, I don't know. I guess the Shenshin path. I guess that's where I do kind of line up with um, lots of starseed things. But then again, I don't put myself into a box or one philosophy. I kind of have a lot of different elements. Like for example, minimalism is something that does also play into how I work with different things and um, and some levels of like mindfulness and those type of awareness practices. And there's a lot of things that I incorporate, as you can probably tell. There's
A
lots
lot.
of different tools that I use, but yeah, that's kind of the main
Okay.
frameworks, I would say.
Well, thank you. And I love that because that's that mentality of like really you have no limit because you don't box yourself in. So I admire that.
Yeah.
Um, so I watched your video about your work that you recently put out, and you had said that you like to go deep. And I really admire that. I love that type of content where, you dive deep and you look where other people maybe don't so much look. So I can appreciate that. Can you talk a little bit about why going so deep is important to you?
Well, I find that there is just a lot of fluff out there, and that, in my opinion, that doesn't do any service to what we do over here and what we work with and what we can work with, and it's almost too simplified. And I do think that there is like room for simplifying to some extent, but when it gets so simple that it's almost like fluff and there's no substance, and it's like very surface level, that's when I find that it gets a little bit problematic. And I also want to help people understand things on a deeper level, and that requires a lot of depth. That requires a lot more, um, like, how do I even explain? Like, getting so, almost like getting so involved in it in a way that, like, you really understand what's happening.
Right. Wow. It's such a great answer, too. And I agree with that. So, do you believe in extraterrestrials and have you ever had any experience with any?
Um, I think that's pretty obvious that yes. I mean, it's not even about belief for me. It's almost like it's fact.
Right. Same.
All about the aliens, inspiring alien. um, and when it comes to experience, well, I did see a UFO once. Actually, it's funny when I mentioned grandma, because it was when I was at my grandma's place. I saw this just ball of light in the sky. Everybody saw it, and then it just vanished, and that was like really bizarre. Um, that's one, and then of course, when it comes to extraterrestrials as like spirits, they're just around me all the time. So it's like they're here.
Awesome. Have you had any paranormal experiences, which I think you just opened up about?
Yeah, that, and then of course, yeah, I have had so many of those in different ways. Like, of course, I talk to deities, also archangels usually, and then some like, how do you call them, deceased spirits.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, I've had those type of experiences though, as well, and I think there was also like a poltergeist once that I had
Wow.
to banish, and yeah, I've had all kinds of things go on. So yeah, definitely have had those experiences.
So do you think that maybe it could like have something to do with like maybe abilities you have? Like maybe you're just sensitive to their energies, or maybe you're a medium?
Yeah,
Yeah. That's awesome.
and also
Probably.
some of it I've had to kind of learn more into,
Right.
because I mean, a personal challenge that I had was, just the fact that, I've been in like mental health care a lot.
Mhm.
I've been taken care of in that sense. So I just had to make sure that, you know, I knew the difference. And
Right.
and so then there was also, it almost felt like there was so much conditioning even in that, just being taken care of, mental health wise, that it was kind of hard to really let some of those things happen, and
Right.
let myself believe more, I guess, and let myself kind of decondition from that idea that, this is sickness and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that's kind of a personal challenge that I had with that, and something that I kind of had to work with as well.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I love that you can be vulnerable and like share your experiences. And take it from somebody who's been there as well. I've had a lot of mental health treatments and such, and also have always seen spirits and entities. So I know how you feel, and that's thank you. Oh, you're gonna share? Gonna share them?
This is Pixie. Pixie is the channel mascot. Pixie appears in the videos sometimes.
I love Pixie.
It is cute. Stop kisses.
Very cute. So you're passionate about astrology. So what kind of got you into astrology, or what is it about astrology that you personally love so much?
That's a good question. I think it was kind of, like how I feel that it went was, it was just um, a natural evolution of my witchcraft practices and those type of things, and it was a natural addition to my tarot practices. Like I kind of started, I started with tarot, and even before that, I was kind of doing dream work. I wasn't really officially on a spiritual path or anything like that. I mean, I've always been kind of connected, like very connected to that side of things, and very connected to everything beyond this physical and whatever you want to call it, matrix. I don't know. Anything beyond that. But I think dream work was the first non-religious spiritual practice that I did, and I was actually a Christian as well. But like, okay, now I'm like rambling off topic. I was supposed to talk about
That's
astrology.
okay. That's okay. You can
Yeah.
share whatever you want.
Okay, so back to the topic. See, this is the Gemini in me, just like rambling off. But yeah, basically, like I said, it was almost like a natural transition from, like, I mean, it wasn't even a transition, it was just an addition that I went into, and then I just wanted to know more and more about it. And some of the things, like when I did some of my research, some of the things that I kind of found out about myself were just so accurate that I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Even though I kind of knew that, there was a lot of truth already in a lot of those things. And I already knew kind of that, just the fact that I have a grandfather trine makes me very sensitive. And that was just like, okay, well, that's kind of obvious.
Right.
But then some of the things, like, for example, having a moon opposite Pluto makes up some very intense emotional life. And then, like, on top of that, I have my nodes connected to both of those planets. So, like, my north node is in Scorpio, conjunct my Pluto, and my south node is conjunct my moon in Taurus. So, so it's like I live a pretty intense life. But yeah, there's just a lot of things like that. But then also like how it helped me understand others, and how it helped me to kind of troubleshoot things and work more mindfully when it comes to different energy that is like transiting, because planets transit all the time.
Right.
There's all kinds of planetary movements all the time. So it's like no 1 second is the same as the other one, because the degrees change also. So it's not like one planet is always in the same place. And that's exactly what I love about it. And it brought so much more to what I was doing when it came to witchcraft and what I was doing with everything else. So,
Well, thank you. Yeah.
so that's that.
I love that. Yeah, I'm just now, like, I thought I knew about astrology until I realized I didn't. So now I've been working on that and how to read the charts and stuff, and yeah, it's uncanny how accurate they are, right?
Yeah.
So I know the next question was, do you read tarot? And I know that you had said that you do. Is there anything you want to add to that, or move on to the next question?
Yeah, I actually made my own tarot deck a
Oh,
few
did you?
years ago. Yeah, I'm gonna share that. And
Oh,
I'm
thank
gonna post another like reading, or as I like to call them, energy transmissions. That's more like what they are on my channel. I already posted one of those. It was called something like Starseed Energy Assistance and transmission. I think that's what I called that video. And I use my cards in those videos because they're all aliens. It's called Inspire Alien Tarot.
Oh, that is so cool.
They're very cute. And I also
Look at that.
have a new version coming out mid-March. And that's gonna be like an infinite edition. So this actually what I'm what I'm holding here is a limited edition. So so there's some minor differences that I've done to the sort of
They're so unique.
Yeah, this is all my art, and this started as an art school project back in 2015. And so through 2015, 2016, I made this deck and I published it 2017. So
I'm a fan.
Yeah, it's been out for a good while, but I haven't really had, this the chance to promote it that
Right.
much, like apart from my own channels, due to financial things. So I've just been building my business the last couple of years,
If
and
if people want to get this deck from you, how would they go about doing that?
I have an online shop, and I can of course send the link. Like,
Okay. Yeah,
and of
and
course you can find it on my channel. Like, you can find everything on my channel, video
okay.
descriptions and all that. And once I have my website all running, it's going to be very easy to navigate through those. But look at this devil.
Oh, I love that. I'm a
Yeah.
fan, and I love that art.
Yeah, I thought
It's
you would. Yeah, I thought you would really like that because I like make it like so creepy and like deformed on
I love
purpose
it.
because I just like, yeah. But then they're still like so cute, and like, I mean, even the three of
Ooh,
stars and the three of swords. It's a three of swords, but like, um, yeah, that's just what I'm like as an artist. It's very like colorful and expressive,
I
and
really love
then
that.
there's cute things like this.
That's
But
so.
yeah, that's the deck. I wonder if there was anything else that I wanted to share from this deck, because like I have some of my favorite cards.
Oh, look at that strength.
Yeah, and this one definitely is one of my favorites from my
Oh, I
deck.
do love that
The
too.
High Priestess.
It almost feels like they draw me in and take me to like an alternate reality, and I love
Thank
that. By the way, guys, her descript or their description, excuse me, is
you.
in. Yes, I apologize. Their description is or link is in the description. So make sure that you guys go check out their channel. Wow.
Yeah, like I have some of my favorite cards in my own deck, but I also want to show as much as possible. But yeah, that's my deck.
Thank you
And
for sharing that. It's absolutely stunning. Like I love
thank
your
you.
art. Love it.
Thank you.
No problem. And so do you have any favorite books?
Hmm. Well, one of my favorite books is The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. And that's a book about, I mean, it's a very personal development book. And it has to do with your like upper limit problems. And that was one of those books that really kind of opened my mind again. And there's a lot of interesting information about it. I mean, interesting information about, personal limiting beliefs, of course, and those type of things, growth. Um, that was one of those big books for me. Um, and I'm thinking like my top list of my all-time favorite books, and then of course the life-changing magic of tidying up by Marie Kondo, of course. That's been a big. It's been kind of trending in the last few years.
Oh,
Um,
I'll
the
have to
Marie
check it out.
Kondo stuff, KonMari. um, so that's all about minimalism and tidying up and those type of things. Um, and then also a very important book, but I would also kind of approach it critically and with a grain of salt. The You Can Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. There's a lot of interesting information in that book, but I also say take it with a grain of salt because, of course, there are medical issues that we have to really pay attention to, like be honest about, and not just like spiritually bypass. But I find that if, for example, somebody has tried everything, or they have like completely random symptoms that don't seem to fit into anything, or that seem to almost come with no reason, then might go into that book. Or if you like for example, I have this weird thing on my middle finger, and I don't know like what's going on with it, but I just keep getting this like
Hmm.
irritation on my middle finger. So then I just go and see like what is this spiritually, and like those type of things. I find that very interesting. But again, I like to also be like a little bit more realistic with some of those things. I think we all need some medical care here and there. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree. Wow. Yeah, and that I think that book you're talking about, I've heard other people that have read it comment on it, and I thought about reading it, so I may give it a read. Do you have any favorite TV shows or movies?
Well, when it comes to TV shows, I don't really watch TV. But movies, well, of course, I love The Matrix, the Matrix movie, and like many sci-fi movies. Something else that came to my mind. I mean, there's plenty. I like. I had something in mind, but now it's like completely disappeared.
That's okay. Happens to me
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah. But there's a lot of sci-fi movies I really love. Oh yeah, of course, Men in Black. That's like one
Mm.
of my favorites. It's so funny.
Do you like the fifth? Have you seen The Fifth Element?
No, I haven't.
Oh, good
And
one.
then there was one called After Earth that was
Mm.
also Will Smith was also in that movie, and that was very good. Yeah, there's just a lot of good sci-fi movies that I love.
Awesome. And do you have a quote or a philosophy that you love or live by?
Quote or philosophy? That's a good question. That's one that I have a very hard time like picking just one. So it's not like I have a lot in mind right now.
That's
I'm sure,
okay.
yeah, I'm sure there would be, but
That's fine if you think of it
yeah,
later.
yeah.
If you could go back in time, what era would you visit and who would you like to talk to?
I'd go to the 80s.
Love
I'm
the
just like,
80s.
yeah, I would go and um, dance in a disco party or something. And when it comes to people, I mean, well, I might go even further back and talk to Picasso.
Ooh,
That's something I might do.
I like it.
Yeah, or any of the surrealists really. I might just go back to that era and talk to them. Even though it was a hard time. It was like post-war, and like everybody was just like, we need another reality. Let's do surrealism. I
Love it.
actually did like a little study thing when I was doing my A levels in an art class. There was this art history class. Actually, it's so funny because almost all of my art classes were an A, but then I got a B in the history. I'm just not that much into history, but anyway, I did this study on surrealism, and that's where I kind of found out that what sparked surrealism really,
Right.
and it's very interesting. I mean, I do find it so interesting how different things play into the culture and the media that's going on. And I feel like if and when people look back at 2020, there's going to be some of that overlap also. Why
Definitely.
certain memes, why what happens with the meme culture. I'm just one of those people who really loves the meme culture.
Yeah,
And
memes are
I
great.
yeah, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to be recorded in the future.
I think about that often as well. Even like with our channels and stuff, like 100 years from now, is somebody going to look back and see our channels and our work, you know?
Yeah.
So, do you have any psychic abilities that you're aware of? I know we touched briefly on that a little bit ago, but
Yeah, there's a lot actually. Um, Psychic abilities. Well, like all of my, well, I don't know all of my clairs, but a lot of them, yes. Um, Personally, I think of clair empathy and clair sentience as two different things. Because how I experience clair sentience is I literally feel spirits on my skin. So it's
mm,
like I feel it, and even sometimes, when I'm doing something, I might have one of my guides just like pull me on the shoulder, like do
wow,
that. And I have those type of experiences. Then I have like some clairaudience, a little bit of clairvoyance, but that happens more, when I sleep or when I
mm,
close my eyes at night, or like even in night in general, it just seems and feels a lot easier to be clairvoyant. But basically, I think my most strongest ones are definitely clairsentience, clairempathy, claircognizance, and clairaudience.
the Claire sisters.
Yeah, and like
Yeah,
if I think about other like abilities, well, yeah, of course, mediumship. That's one thing, and but I'm mostly able to work with my own, so I haven't really expanded onto working with like other people's guides or anything, unless it's like shared guides. That's the only thing.
right.
Um, so yeah, I think that's for the most part. And I do have this thing where I can like channel my energy on the things. So like, I mean, I think most witches do that anyway, but it's like
Comes
it's
easier for you though.
yeah, it's almost like I can control fire sometimes, and I can recharge from it. So like, for example, I noticed this thing where our fireplace was lit, and I just went to sit in front of it, and I just got recharged. And then I almost like felt myself be fire. I don't know. I've
Wow.
had those type of things because then I also had like a higher self aspect that was all fire, and I downloaded it into me. I don't know. It could have been that I've been fire in my past life or something, but like that's one of those things. And then also I have some control over the weather. In this time, it's harder. It seems to be a little bit harder, but like there have been times when I've just said, I want warmer, and then it gets warmer. And I just say, um, I want sun, then I get sun. And it's like,
Wow.
yeah, it happens, but I still have to train a little bit. Horus actually gave me that skill. So,
Yeah, and it's a tough one, to get. I've been trying to manipulate fire myself. Sometimes it works, but there are times I've thought I want it to rain and it would rain, or so. That's so interesting. Thank you for sharing. So let me, here we go. We're on 16. How could one, in your opinion, find any like hints or traces of starseed energies or origins? Like, do you have any suggestions for people maybe looking in their astrology or other ways of finding starseed origin?
well, there's this one website that has a pretty good range of information on where different stars align astrologically, and it's something that I'm still studying myself as well. So there's just a lot to go into it. It's a lot of study if you want to go the astrology way, but But there are some like general things that I could say. So, for example, if you have any Taurus in your chart, you might be a Pleiadian. If you have Cancer in your chart, you might be Syrian or yeah, Procyon or even Apollonian. And if you have Gemini in your chart, you might be Orion. And then there's lots of other ones, like if you have Virgo or Libra, you might be a Spican.
What about Scorpio?
There's Alcyon, I think, or is it Alcyon? Antares, at least, is there. And there's a lot of things, like so many different originates related to the stars. And I've done some studying into this, but it's still not enough for me to like give a whole list there.
Elaborate.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
But then on the other hand, I think, you know, the best thing to do, I mean, one of the things that I started with was, you know, just going into meditations on finding my origins. And that's like just going into the source yourself. And I think, you know, of course, we can always try and make sense out of some things, try and make and analyze things, but I find that it's maybe more organic to find those things yourself, right? To really find those things in your own meditations and in your own like alignment.
Well, thank you. It's really good advice, actually. So you had said in one of your videos that you love living every moment like it is sacred, and I really felt that. Is there an experience you had in life to kind of make you feel that way, or do you just naturally feel that way?
Well, it is kind of something that is natural, but then there's also like there's just this part of me that really wants to live my truth in every second. And just be present and be in my heart at all times. And I wouldn't say there's like a specific moment, but sometimes I do feel the need to kind of reinforce that again and again, because it is so easy to just get carried away with life and just get stimulated and like distracted from each moment. And I think honoring each moment is something that maybe more people should do, because that way we do get more mindful and connect on a deeper level.
Wow. That's beautifully said.
Thank you.
Do you have a favorite color?
Not really, because I like all colors. But I don't know. Well, I like pink, I like purple, I like blue, I like green. Those shades. Yeah, I like yellow too. I like almost all colors, really. I don't think I have a color that is my favorite. Really.
I like that. One thing about you that you would like to scream at the world if you could?
One thing about me.
Or just something in general that you would like to just scream at the world if you had everyone's attention?
Listen to each other.
I like that. What is a song that you love that often describes how you feel?
Can you repeat, please?
Yeah, sorry. Do you have a song that you love that often describes how you feel?
That's a very good question. But this also is different in every moment. So I can't really give just one song. I mean, maybe Enjoy the Silence by Depeche Mode. Because I like silence. I do like music though, but I like silence.
Yeah, music's like a whole different type of silence. Even
Yeah.
though it's sound, it's like relaxing. What about one experience in this lifetime that you'll never forget? Something that kind of changed you?
This life that changed me. Hmm. That's a very good question. Um, I've had quite a few moments like that. Um, so yeah, I'm not really quite sure where to start or what to go into because there's a lot.
Yeah, you don't have to, go into any personal things if you don't want to. That is completely okay.
Yeah.
Well, my gosh, we got through that kind of quick.
Okay.
But I really, really appreciate you coming on here, and I loved getting to know you better. And is there anything else that you wanted to talk about or say before we wrap it up? And does anyone in the comments have any questions?
I mean, I don't know if I have much else to share. I mean, if anyone's interested in any of these topics that we talked about, you can of course check out my channel for other videos made. Yeah.
It's in the description. Go show them some love. Alrighty. Well, thank you for joining us, and much love.
Thank you for having me. I love this.
Me too.